again, you can make these lessons for the whole group, small group, individuals. You can do live assessments. You can uh, have open-ended questions. You can. There's all sorts of things here. So when you join Nearpod, right now the silver account is the free account. There are some limitations into storage space and how many lessons you can have and that sort of thing. Sharon and I are going to work on possibly getting a subscription for the school. So there's that option. Um, so when you go in, you usually default to this page here. You have your library. You have reports for any lessons where you have interactive lessons and so forth. We'll go through that. You have your Nearpod library. We'll show you that in a second. And then you have resources here. And this, for future reference, teacher resources, they have all sorts of tutorials and things like that um, for everyone, how to get started, that sort of thing. Nice, nice setup for you to look at. So, okay. So back here at Nearpod, their library, they have a plethora of materials. Most of it is subject based and so forth. And so you can do searches for whatever you need. They would have anatomy things, say for nursing. They may have culinary. I don't know if they do or not, but I know they do have SEL, social emotional learning lessons that you can use. Things like that. If you had like an SOL or a state requirement, you could search by state standards. They have lessons that are pre-made. You have videos, and again, you can sort by subject and grade level. So anytime you want to go back to your library, you can come up here to the upper left-hand corner and click Nearpod, and it takes you back to your library. Okay. So to get started, you can create from scratch. In order to do that, you would hit on the create button here or up here. Either one will get you started. You can create a Nearpod activity in Google Slides. You have to have the Nearpod extension. And I just found out that you have to have a paid subscription to Nearpod. So this isn't available in the silver, the free account to use the extension. But you can create all you want here in Nearpod. You can upload any of your old PowerPoints. Google, you can do Google Slides, you can do docs, PDFs, pictures, things of that nature. So this here, Rock Cycle, was a PowerPoint that I uploaded. So if I wanted to upload, okay, so say if I want to create and I say a lesson, and things are going to be slow. And anytime you guys have a question or whatever, just pop it in the chat or just, holler at me. So here at this slide, I can drag and drop any file that I want here. A PNG is a image, PowerPoints, PDFs. You all know how to do that. You can drag and drop, or you can click upload file. This is a 10 meg limit. So if you have any large files, then larger than 10 megs, it won't work. Also, if you upload a PowerPoint and it has videos in it that are embedded in it, those features do not cross over. So just as a heads up there. Okay. So back here at my library, I'm going to open up the lesson that I had uploaded before. So once you have a lesson here, when you hover with your mouse, several options come up where I can, if I'm ready to present the lesson, I can do live participation. That would pretty much be a whole class activity. You know, if you have all the kids in virtually or wherever, and you want to teach the lesson, and then you have the option of student paced. We'll go over both of those in a little bit. But here, once you've uploaded or downloaded from the library, like say this one, either one, I can go into edit. And this is where the fun begins. So the nice thing about Nearpod here is that it has it here in a tile format. And I can just pick and choose my slides. I can just drag and drop to wherever I want them to be and so forth. So it's really easy to manipulate and order how you want things to go. To make it more interactive, you can click on Add Slide here or Add Slide up here. Either way, you'll get these options. These are your content options. And then you have activity options. And these are also posted in the presentation that I created. But here, some of these are very self-explanatory. The videos, slides, web content, 3D and simulation, those would be really good, say, for it could be for nursing if you wanted to show three-dimensional organs and systems and so forth, or maybe Ken, if they had some plumbing simulations of how things work, you could probably put those in. And then you have all these other options here. In the note, again, in the presentation I created, there is a description of each of these and a video link so you can see how it's used and how to implement it in Nearpod. You also have activities, and this is where you can get really interactive. Time to climb is basically students are racing to the top of a mountain by answering all the questions correctly, sort of like Kahoots. And then you have your questions, matching pairs that could be vocabulary based with an image or word with definition. You have your quizzes, Flipgrid. Students use this, they're creating mini videos to share with everybody. Draw It is exactly that. It's a feature that allows students to draw and share and submit information. And you have your collaboration board. That's sort of like the Jamboard that Google has, where everybody can interact. You can do live polling, fill in the blank, and memory. So those are just some of the options there. So here, the one thing that I really like about this one, I like to always have videos in my presentations, and in the videos, to keep the kids engaged, I like to have questions embedded. And in the past, I'd used a feature called Play Pause It, but here, this is such an easier integration. So say I want to add a video. I'm going to come up here to content and choose video. And you have several options of where to find your videos. You can use the Nearpod library. You can use YouTube. You could have any of your own pre-made videos. So if Ken and Diana, if you had created videos either in plumbing or culinary and you're cooking or baking something, you could video record yourself doing the demonstration and then come up here and upload it and add questions. I think it's a really cool feature. But anyway, when I taught earth science, I would go to YouTube an awful lot. And here you have a search for YouTube within Nearpod, so you don't have to leave the Nearpod website. So if I just type in Geology Kitchen here, if I want to talk about clastic sedimentary rocks, and I want to use that one, I'm going to go ahead and click on that and then come down here in the lower right-hand corner and click Save. And it takes me to the actual video. Here, I can watch the video, and as I'm watching it, I can click Add Activity. So if I'm halfway, say here, it tells me where I am in the video, and I can click Add Activity. I can add an open-ended question, and I could do a multiple choice question. Just click on that. I can't spell. Okay, so if I type this in Clastics, my correct answer, I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark so it knows, and then I can always reorder this. Okay, and then down here I would hit Save. Okay, and then I could continue to add more questions. I can trim this video if I only wanted to show a section. I can use the trim option over here. When I'm done, I'm going to hit Save. And it's going to add this slide at the end of my presentation. Waiting, waiting, waiting. So it's down here at the bottom, and then I can just drag and drop it to wherever I want it. Give it a second. There we go. So I could, like I said, I could drag and drop it wherever I wanted. And if I decide I didn't want it, I can just click on it and hit Delete Slide. Yes or no. Okay. I can add polls, which are really great if you want to check for understanding, see if students understand the concept. So you, again, very simple. You just add, and you can go over here to Activities, Poll. And then you would add your question with your answers. Over here, you can add a video to it or pictures, whatever you need to. You can put a timer on it, giving kids only so much time to answer the question. You can allow the students to select multiple options if it was worded as such. And then you would hit Save. So for example here, I created a poll earlier. Here, do you understand the rock cycle? Yes, no, or maybe. And again, I can put that anywhere I want in my presentation. It's as simple as a click and a drag. At the end, I added a Draw It. And again, it was just as simple as going Add Slides. So here, as a summative of the lesson, I have my kids drawing a rock cycle. And then they would submit that. It's very simple. Draw and label the rock cycle as we discussed today. And they would go ahead and they would do that on the draw it page. And then when you were finished, you would adding your directions. And if you had any media or background or whatever, you would add that. So if there's nothing on here, they have an empty canvas. There is no background. So again, there's lots of different activities and features that you can add. You just have to play with that. Now, when you're getting ready to assign this to a student, you can preview this in advance. You can hit save and edit. If I'm going too fast, guys, please just let me know. And like I said, if you have a question, just holler. So here I'm ready to present, and I'm going to do this as a whole class. So I would click live presentation or live participation. And the information that comes up here, you would post on Schoology or share with your students in your virtual meeting. So just like in Kahoots or GimKit or whatever, there's a code that students would need to join. And they would join at join.nearpod.com. And if you guys would mind joining so that you can see what it looks like on the students page, and I can show you what it looks like on the teachers page. So it's join.nearpod.com. Okay. And then the code that you would type in would be IJYZV. If you were doing this in Schoology, you would come over here and you would use this link. You would have the copy of the link, and then you would also give the kids the code so that they could get into this lesson. Okay. So here is what the teacher sees. There is that code up there, so the kids can join at any time. Right down here, I don't have anybody joining me as a student. So again, if you guys could join so that you could just see how some of this works. There is no student list right now since none of you have signed in. Okay, so down here in the lower center, you can at a glance see all of your slides to see what's coming up. You can hide that. Here you can hide student names or show student names when you're doing a poll or whatever, like I'll show you in a second, and you don't want anybody to see each other's names, you would use that feature. Up here at any time during this activity, if I feel that I need to add something, I can just click here, and those are features that I can add while being live. Okay. So for example, right now I have one student. I have Rosa. Thank you, Rosa, who's listed in here. So when I come over here and I go through my slides, just like you would in your lesson, if I get to the poll, okay, so here this slide has a video. This would be my video. I can play it for my device only and you guys watch, or I could do all devices. And this is where you would watch the video. And you could see I only have one question in here. But as it's being played, as I got to the question, you would have to answer, the students would have to answer the question. So then you go through, okay, here's the poll question. Now, Rosa, can you go ahead and answer that? As you can see right now, you can see Rosa's name. But if I come over here in the lower right-hand corner where it says hide student names and I click on that, her name disappears. So this gives some students some anonymity. They can be anonymous in their answers or not worry about what other kids are going to say. So you can have that. And here I have it so that it's shared. If I'm not ready to share it quite with the students yet, I would click this and I can click unshare. We can have a little conversation and then I can share the poll. So that's a nice feature. And then you can go through. And anytime you're ready to stop, I can come up here to the center where it says Nearpod, and I can click reports or an end session. Also, if you're wondering what the students are seeing, up here in the upper right hand corner where it says S, I can click on that and it switches to student view. So I could see what, say, Rosa's seeing right now. So it will come up, and then up here, this is what the student sees. I can go back to switch to teacher view, and I can always open this up in a separate window so I could look at both views at the same time if I choose to. So we can go back to student view, or teacher view, excuse me. And again, you have, when you're done, you can come up here. I can click end session. And then it pops me back to my library. And in my library here, I can click on reports. So I can see how my students did throughout the lesson based on the activities that I had them complete. So I click on this and I have all the sessions that I had with this particular lesson. So if you teach multiple classes, they would all show up here every time you present. So this was my morning session here, and this is my afternoon session. And when I click on those, say my morning session here, I can see my students' names, what they participated in. So there was 100% participation in the poll question. We didn't do the draw it, which was at the end of the lesson. And then overall, it shows that there was 50% participation because they only did half of the features. And you can look at this here. You can download it, you can share it. It's a nice little feature.
Roseanne?
Yes, Ken.
I tried to log in and it said the code was invalid.
Okay, well, I just closed it, so now it's invalid.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm back and showing you the rest of the features.
Okay.
So that was if I was to show participation for the whole class, if we're doing the lesson together. Here you can do student paste. Again, you can have this set up to give to a few students, all of your students, one student. And all I do here is I click student paste. As you can see, they still have to go to join.nearpod.com and they still have a code. Now, what's different here is that since it's student paste, I can require student responses and prevent skipping. So that means they have to do everything in the lesson. And then I get to figure out or get to show how long I want this to be active since it's student paced. So say this is your emergency lesson plan that you can use at any time during the school year. Well, let's see, we can make it valid all the way till June. So say June 7th, and I can click apply. So this quote unquote lesson, which is an emergency lesson plan, is available all year long. You would create a folder, say in Schoology, emergency lesson plan, and in there you would have a link to this lesson with the code and then the directions, and you would have something ready to go. You can view the students' progress to see how many have actually completed that assignment. So that's a nice feature there. So I'm trying to think. Any other questions right now? Okay.
Yeah, they don't really have very many for cooking, but they have a lot of good, like, just general life skill things that you could use, or stuff like that on here.
Mm-hmm. And Diana, if you have any videos, cooking videos and so forth, you can upload those here and then add those questions in if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In there for math, dealing with fractions and measuring, things of that nature.
I've been using a lot of Ed Puzzles lately, and they have a ton of Ed Puzzles on cooking already done for you with the questions in there and everything. So
Right. And Play Pause It also does that too. But if you want to create a total package all in one, you could go this route where you would have, you could have your lesson with a video with a mini quiz attached to it. I mean, I could talk to Sharon. We could do WRS with this possibly, things like that. So, here in the presentation that I created, I'll bring this over here. Again, down here, you have your types of activities. And I have a video for each one that shows you what it's about and how you can add it to a Nearpod activity. So the draw is really nice where the kids can, if you want them to draw as opposed to type, and just another way to interact as opposed to just, writing everything. And then content. I have, again, I have videos for everything. If you want to do simulations and Sway, it has to do with digital stories. That's new. How to incorporate audio and video. Here in Notes, if you decide to go through this, I added some videos on, it accessing, downloading reports, using the Nearpod add-on. This again is if we have a subscription, you can use this. It's not available in the Silver account, which is the free part. So, but this whole presentation here has a lot of information you can go through, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, Ken?
You mentioned using this for the substitute lesson or emergency lesson plan, something like that, which I think is a great idea. How easy will this be for whoever they get for a sub to access this thing?
So what you would do is, Ken, you would have this already pre-made in a folder, unpublished, with the link and the code and the lesson all to go. And if it's an emergency lesson plan and you can't access it, one of us can go in and just post it for you.
Okay.
And then 2, if it's something that's pre-planned, then you can go ahead and post it like you would a normal substitute plan.
But the sub would be able to just go in it and follow the instructions and do the plan.
Well, they won't have access to Schoology, but you can give them the directions on what to say to the students, and the students will see everything. You would type in all the directions there in Schoology for the students, and then would just have that information available on a paper or something for the sub if it was planned.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking more in terms of that substitute lesson packet that we've got. Since we're virtual now, when we turn that thing in, we were not. And this would be a good way to build that up a little bit, but I just want to make sure that if indeed I have to be out, unknown reason, will the sub be able to get to it?
Okay. If it needs to be posted and it's an emergency and you can't post it yourself,
Mm-hmm.
all of us who are admins in your classes can go in and post it.
Okay.
And share that information, and then prepare the sub, tell the sub, what needs to be done. But if it's an emergency and we are still virtual, you may not have a sub. It may just end up being an asynchronous day per se for the students. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you would you could set it up as if it was an asynchronous lesson. Go in from that view and then have everything set up and good to go. So all you would have to do is post it, or one of us post it, and your students would be able to complete the lesson.
Okay. Now that would work. And then even if it is a sub, you can use the same lesson for those that are present and those that are at home.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yes. Everybody would have access to it based on the code and the link.
Okay.
So again, if there aren't any other questions, that was pretty much the overview for Nearpod. If you want to plan a lesson using Nearpod and you need some help or some guidance, and you can more than happy to set up a time with me, and I'll sit down with you guys and we can plan out a lesson. So.
Okay. I think I'm going to try one and then I'll see how it goes and let you know.
Okay.
That's a good
Hey,
idea.
Roseanne, I saw a bunch on here that Nearpod has put together themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like they let you edit them.
Yeah, they do.
You do? Because
Uh-huh.
I'm not getting that edit.
Okay, so here's one that this one here I downloaded and it lets me edit. So what happens is I'm about to edit a downloaded lesson to keep a copy. I can duplicate the lesson or just edit the lesson that I downloaded.
Okay. Because I made a copy of it, but it's still, I'll figure it out.
Okay, what one was it?
Getting to know me. I just happened to see that one on there, and it has a lot of understanding differences in everybody and what makes you unique.
Okay.
I was looking through there, and it when you open it, and I made a copy, it's not giving me very many options of what I can change on here.
Let's see. Getting to know me. So was it this one here?
Let me look at your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sharing my screen. It says getting to know me.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just share my screen again here. This one right here.
Hold on. Needs to pop up. Come on, buddy. Yep.
Okay. So let me look at this. Hopefully our computers will be in soon. They're at the DOT, so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click add to my library.
That's what I did, and I opened it up in my library.
Come on. Okay. So coming up here and I click edit. You have that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and edit the lesson. Okay. So as you can see, okay, it has activities in there. All right. So if I go to add a slide, okay. Was there an activity or something that you wanted to add?
No, like I was just clicking on one of the slides to open it up to see if you could like change the wording, and it didn't really, I mean, it gave you like you could change the background. They didn't really give you a lot of things that you could do to the slide they already made.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I haven't tried messing with that. I guess it's just as a picture.
Yeah. So like you can't erase
Any of their
any of
writing.
their wording or anything like that.
Let's see. That's just the layout. Themes. I guess not.
I wonder if it's just because it's a Nearpod one. It's theirs, you know, like they don't want you changing it and saying it's yours.
Right.
That's fine.
So I don't know if that's the same for all Nearpod lessons. You would have to, I guess, look at the different ones. Like the one that I downloaded, I haven't messed with that per se. The one on volcanoes. Everything's so slow.
I know yours is worse than mine.
So, okay, so here's one on, let's see if I can mess with this one. My home computer is much better than this, but I'm at school, so our new computer should be better. Okay, so this was just a video. Okay, that's why it wouldn't let me do that. So again, I guess you just have to play with the different ones and look at them to see if they're editable. So
That is fine. I was just curious.
okay, well, I'll do a little more research on that, and I can get back to you on that.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. So, any other questions, guys?
I don't
Nope,
think
just
so.
going to try it.
All right, so give it a shot and just let me know how it goes. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
don't expect it
Sounds
anytime real soon.
Okay, and that's all right. I'm going to email you guys a survey. All of our PD now has to come with a survey at the end. So, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Fill it out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Rose.